Hi, this is Bob Grant, and for today we're going to talk about asking for what you need. And the reason why I find this is important is when I talk to members of our Adore group or the Adore Club, sometimes, especially if they've been dating a man for a while, or even if they're married, the thinking is that he should know what they like. I've told him, I've explained to him, or he's paid attention enough, and if he's really cares about me, he'll be more in tune with what I want, he'll know, or he'll think the way that I think. And the problem with this, of course, is that men are not mind readers. Everybody's heard that, but more specifically is that men think a lot differently than women do. Even in a relationship, remember, as we get more comfortable, the tendency is just to fall back on what's familiar. So early on, the man puts all of his effort into it, the woman does too, really focused, really engaged with her, in tune with her. You know, everything about her is fairly fascinating early on, but then everybody gets comfortable. And he assumes that you were as easy to please, easygoing, went with the flow with everything, but of course, early on, we're trying to make a good impression. We're trying to make it a point to do things that he would like or present ourselves in the best way. Early on in this stage also with men, it's easy to think in terms of this is who he is. Early on, that's him at his best. That's a side of who he is. Who he is going to be that once he gets used to you, and then when he has bad days, it's going to be all three. But usually it feels so good in the first part that, I just don't want this to go away. It feels almost euphoric. That I don't want this. I don't want to see the other side, even though we know better. And so as a relationship progresses, we say things, and early on in the relationship, it didn't take much. We just said a couple of things. He was very attentive. But why this is so important for intimacy is that as you share what you need, remember, it's a request, it's not a demand. There's very few things that are demand. It's a request, not a sense of entitlement. Men bristle, or men are very sensitive or irritated when things are framed in terms of a demand, or it can be an expectation, but it's not a right. Now, there are some things that are. You have the right to be safe. You have the right for someone to be faithful to you. You have the right for someone not to lie to you, okay? If we start stretching those out as to, he didn't tell you everything you wanted to hear, that's not necessarily a lie. He just might not have thought you needed to hear that, or he thought it was necessary. Asking for what you need when you're upset. If I'm sitting there talking to you, or you and him, you're a couple, and you're flustered with something, you're not sure, I'm asking you. I say, Jennifer, Susan, Allison, Monica, what is it that you need? I just wish he was a better person to do it. Okay, but right now, what do you need? Right now, what is it he can do? What is it he can do for you right now? What gesture, what can he do? Because sometimes what we need, or what we say we need, isn't what we need. But see, it's vulnerable to ask for what you need. And it also requires for you to be in touch with what's going on inside. In our emotions class now, one of the things the ladies, they're just starting now to get into it, is starting to pay attention to how they feel. And it's unsettling for some of them. For some of them, they've just gotten used to just pinching off feelings and I want these feelings, happy, happy, joy. I don't know what to do with anger or sadness, because I'm afraid those will take over. But your feelings are one of the best indicators of what you need. And sometimes you have to wait for them. And notice how internal this is, and why this is where intimacy comes from. Because if you're not aware of what you need, he's not going to know what to do. You're going to leave it to him to guess. And if you tell him, I told him, I wish he would, you can do that, but that doesn't help him. What that tells him is, don't make a mistake. You can, my word, train a man, encourage, reinforce to a man to take risk with you and to be curious, or you can train him not to make a mistake. The choice is really yours. Training him not to make a mistake is the easy route. When he does something you don't like, react, not even harshly, but really firmly. I can't believe you did that. And he'll learn, okay, that doesn't work. And when that doesn't work, what he does is, I won't do anything that's even close to that. I won't get near that. So I made a gesture, and she reacted this way, so nothing in that category. She doesn't like gifts. I'm making this up. She doesn't like things, when I try things over here. She only wants exactly what she wants, and if she can't get exactly what she wants, don't bother. Well, that isn't necessarily what you think. Maybe you're upset because, he got you a gift, but he forgot your birthday present, or there was some other reason. And we want to address those things. Asking for what you need in that case would be like, what I really need was for you to remember my birthday. It's great that you do this. I mean, hopefully he doesn't do that. It's great that you do this, but I wish that you would have put more time into that and not just be spontaneous. I like it when you plan for me. See, it's vulnerable to do that. But now we're building intimacy. Now we're having closeness. And especially when it's done that way, a preference and a request, you can still control the consequences. If he just blows you off, he says, I'm not interested, don't want to hear it. Okay, that tells you a lot about him. Most of the time what you'll get from a man, though, when you do that, is he'll lean into you. There's a lot of talk, Sandy Wonder is very big about this, about leaning back, and she's rather brilliant with it, I might add. But the purpose of it, and you can ask her, the purpose of this is to get the man to lean into you, to pursue. We call it being a hunter. Because if you're initiating and you're being guarded and you're keeping him at a distance, I'm emotionally distant, there's nothing for him to pursue. So that's our quick take on asking for what you need.